welcome to this week's edition of Without Having Kicked the Ball with me, TubeMix, or either will do. And tonight we have the return of the EFL guru. It's a good evening to welcome to Jordan Peter Pettigrew Earlham.
Yeah, that's not a nickname. That's not a nickname that's staying around, is it? Hello, good evening. It's been a while. There's much to discuss. Um, let's get into it. Yeah, let's not mess around.
All right, and also joining me is the ever-present Sam Taylor.
Oh, thank you. Hello, Will. Hello to viewers, and hello to Peter Pettigrew. How you doing, mate?
That nickname can fuck off straight away.
And,
Yes, I'm
and
well.
probably they think I'm Colin Creevy at this rate.
More like Colin Creepy.
Who they want to go away.
Did you catch that one, did you?
No, I didn't catch that one. What did you do? Never long bottom.
Sam did, it's fine. Right. Carry on.
Okay, anyway, so tonight's show is something a little different. And it is basically an overview show. So we'll be looking just generally at the Premier League, and then of course Jordan will be working his signature EFL magic for us later, which is going to be absolutely fantastic to see him back in his rightful place. So, where do we want to start then?
We'll start at the bottom of the Premier League, shall we?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So,
go on, Will.
Oh yeah, so Nottingham Forest, I mean, it's obviously been...
They're not bottom.
Oh no, sorry, no.
Burnley.
Burnley,
No,
that's
Wolves.
right, yes.
Oh shit, yes, Wolves. Yeah, how good were they, by the way, on the Tuesday night? Did you watch it?
That Burnley v Brentford game was extraordinary.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but I saw it.
No, I watched it. They were Wolves were fantastic against Liverpool. They absolutely, they're like, I will say this. I think obviously Wolves have been terrible, but Rob Edwards is doing a lot of heavy lifting with the confidence of that squad, isn't he?
Yes, he is, absolutely.
They're now going down with a fight.
Yeah, and they're also not that far off Burnley now either. And I've spoken a lot to Will and in bits on this show because obviously I've been a busy boy recently about how much I actually really think that Burnley are a great side that are just missing, for instance, a decent striker. So to see Wolves, by the way, come back from where they were, is proof that it's not really over yet.
They were on 2 points around Christmas time, weren't they?
Yeah, I think it's quite funny because I think that there is something different about the teams in and around the bottom at the minute because they all seem capable. They all seem capable of picking up the odd point, whereas in the last couple of seasons, it's pretty much been dead and buried before a ball's even been kicked. So, which I think is very interesting indeed.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think we'll wait and see, but I get the feeling that
I think it's probably they're more playing for pride now. I think.
I don't know. I mean, if we we can dissect the table here. We'll go everybody from Leeds downwards. Leeds in 15th with 31. Spurs in 16th with 29. Currently, as we're recording, losing 3-1 to Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest 17th on 28, although they did get, obviously, it was a decent point against
Well, pretty
City.
incredible draw, yeah, against City.
West Ham did win against Fulham, but they're also on 28. In the bottom three on goal difference, Burnley are 9 points back on 19, and then Wolves 3 points back from them on 16. I've always said, if you remember,
Can Wolves survive, boys?
well,
Could you? Unbelievable.
Oh, sorry. In my view, they're playing for pride. I think it's too little, too late.
Thing is, don't forget, there's 8 games left, which means there's still 24 points left to play for.
It was more than 8 games, isn't there?
Well, Wolves have played 30, isn't it? A 38 game season.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Wolves have got 8 games left to play, which means there's 24 points still up for grabs, which means it's very much alive. I've always said,
Well, they'd have to win nearly every game because
they'd have to win every game and hope that Forest, who do look better under Vitor Pereira but haven't improved too much, and Burnley, who are decent but haven't really got very much up top, they'd have to hope that they don't pick points up. I think that Burnley, West Ham, Forest, Spurs, and Leeds will all pick up a few points between now and the end of the season. That doesn't necessarily mean I think all of them will survive. I'm just saying that for Wolves, I think their job is not necessarily to hope
the West Ham could have a really good chance of staying up. I think.
I think going down will be.
could Tottenham go down?
Well, I
see but me and Will spoke about this last week. Sorry to cut you off, Joe, but we spoke about this last week, and we were saying it's unbelievable we're having this conversation. But if you look at the bottom side,
beginning to what.
If you look at the if you look at the table, they're the worst on the worst run at the minute.
Well, that's the thing, like, and I would say at the minute, and I'm not even being, I'm not being crass to say this, but at the minute, I think Spurs are the worst team in the league.
And they've got 11 players out injured.
That's
There's no doubt.
Whole team.
There's no doubt if they had all those 11 players fit, they wouldn't be where they are now.
Don't you think Igor Tudor is a very strange appointment?
Yes, I agree. They should have got Harry Redknapp back.
I didn't think it was that strange, but he has said some very strange things.
I think people saying Harry Redknapp, I get it, but Harry Redknapp is 80 years old.
He's 79, actually.
I mean, well, don't be a cock.
Well done, Sam. Well done. Someone research.
No, you could say he does it.
You're an absolute arsehole.
He could say he doesn't know the league, and he's been at Tottenham, albeit a long time ago, and he would be a steady pair of hands.
Yeah, I mean,
I would only suggest him just temporarily till the end of the season because
obviously, going into some non-league chat, Neil Warnock has come out of retirement to take the managerial job at Torquay.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
So nothing's out of the question, but I just think that would be a silly. I really think that would be a silly move because I just don't think he. First of all, I think that because this Spurs team are that bad, it's not gonna do very much to help his reputation, is it?
What does his reputation really matter now that he's at the age?
No, now that he's like almost 80 years old, you're right.
You know,
I think you could have. There are people out there who are linked with Spurs that could have done a decent job. Robbie Keane.
No, but he doesn't have any experience of managing in the Premier League. Yes, he's played in it, but it's a different thing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, this season's dead and buried. Why not give?
Yeah, but would
Because
you
let's
have
face it,
employed
there's
Fireman Sam?
well, he's probably going to do a better job than Igor Tudor, isn't he? But
Stay
that's
on the
not the
beach,
point.
stay retired.
But that's like I just find the Igor Tudor appointment really strange because it's a noticeable name who, in my opinion, has basically been set up to fail because he's never going. I don't know whether he was promised the job, maybe not. Maybe it was never ever in his remit that he would ever get that job, but he's definitely not getting it at the minute. I just think it's a
No.
really weird,
But
really weird.
Did you think it was a weird appointment at the time?
Yeah,
Yes, I would
because he, I can do some research about this while we're talking, but to validate. But his last job was the Juventus job.
And usually it seems he's come at clubs, done the job, and then moved on.
Well, the thing is, he was not very popular at Juventus. I think because you know that's a big club with a lot of expectations that, by the way, deserve the expectations. There's a lot of expectation on Tottenham, and Tottenham, although they're a big club in terms of they're a traditional top six club, are Tottenham, in the grand scheme of world football, a big club? This is what we were talking about the other week, Will.
Yeah.
You know,
Tough one, isn't it? Depends, because would you say Borussia Dortmund are a big club? Because I'd probably say Tottenham and Borussia Dortmund are at a similar level.
I'd say Borussia Dortmund have won more leagues.
Exactly.
I'd say
the Bundesliga
not in the history they haven't.
I would say Borussia Dortmund have won the Champions League. Obviously, that '99 team with Paul Lambert in midfield. Was he at centre back? But yeah, Paul Lambert was definitely in that team, that Dortmund team. But that's an interesting question. I would put Dortmund above Spurs, but not by much.
Would you put City above Tottenham? I know they've won more.
Man City.
So recent stuff.
Yeah, even if you go back to the 50s when they won the league, or the 70s when they were winning stuff, or even to say just like the incredible early 2000s period when they went all the way down to League One and then came back. There's more history, and then by proxy more silverware with City. Definitely, I think City are one of the biggest clubs in the world.
I wouldn't quite go that far, but
I think City are top 5 biggest clubs in the world. I think it's Real Madrid. Well, this is different because if we're talking about reputation, I think we're talking Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Manchester City, Bayern Munich. Not in any particular order, but that's what I would say.
So you think City overall, not just these last couple of decades, you think City are one of the best teams in the world?
Yeah, but it's difficult to say that, isn't it? Because you could say, oh well, Man United got relegated in the '70s, so Man United Man United where they should be. You could say, oh, Chelsea got relegated in the '80s and in the '70s. You could say Forest won all sorts of stuff in the mid '80s with Brian Clough, but since then they've spent years and years in the Championship and League One.
So, going back to Wolves though a minute, let's bring it back to Wolves. What's changed What's Rob Edwards managed to do? Is it a case of the pressure's just been taken off the players?
No, I think he loves the club.
Well, I actually think a bit of both. I think pressure has been taken off, but
I think he loves.
They had nothing to play for. Doesn't that make it easier to then pick up?
I think he loves the club, and I think that he basically took the job knowing he'd probably still be there if they got relegated because they were in an absolute terrible position.
Can I just say, I really loved when Rob Edwards celebrated. Did you see this at the end of the Liverpool v Wolves game?
I was watching it. It's emotional to see as a football fan because
it was just absolutely wonderful to see. Even if you're not a fan of these clubs, wonderful moment.
I don't believe that he's coming and taking the pressure off though, because I think even if they're basically already relegated, which they were when he came in, nobody wants to be a manager that comes in and their team's getting tonked every week. Do you know what I mean?
But the players look like they've had the pressure taken off. They look like they've got the confidence back.
Well, they look like they've been breathed life into, but I think that's why it's important sometimes to bring somebody in with that love of the club. I mean, look at like Michael Carrick, for instance. Look at Frank Lampard's first time at Chelsea. A difficult situation, but he was a guy who knew the club inside and out, and has brought them to a good point under financial constraints. In Lampard's case, in Carrick's, an absolute poison chalice. The Man United job. He's making it look easy. I know they lost last night, but you can't win every game.
But would you say that, because it took Rob Edwards quite a few games to have any kind of bounce, would you say if they had that bounce straight away that they got now, or pretty quickly, then they would have really been in the running?
Well, I think that's what saved them with Vitor Pereira, wasn't it? Vitor Pereira came in. I'm trying to think. I think he got battered his first game, which was Van Nistelrooy's first game at Leicester, right? And then after that, like almost instant bounce, and they
first the points, then the pints.
They were, yeah, exactly. They were safe instantly, pretty much as soon as they started winning games. So, yeah,
one of the great football quotes, by the way, in my view.
I think, by the way, that Rob Edwards, although they probably will get relegated, in my opinion, I think he's done his reputation absolutely no harm.
I think it's probably nailed on. They'll get relegated still.
Yeah, I think so too.
Impossible. But they are making a fight of it, and like you said, George,
they've got more fighting than Spurs.
Well, not difficult, is it? But like you said, George, it's there's no easy games now in the league, and the bottom clubs who would have said other than Wolves, but now the whole bottom of the league is capable of picking up points.
Yeah, and they have done it.
Rather than a Wolves earlier in the season, or an Ipswich really, or a Leicester, or a Luton Town. There's no real whipping. Well, they were the whipping boys, Wolves, but they picked up. So everybody is capable of picking points up.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was saying earlier on. I mean, I remember saying on this show, I think it was last season when we were talking about Southampton, that for me, the mathematical impossible to stop the drop is 12 points adrift, which obviously right now there's only one club 12 points adrift, and it's Wolves.
Yeah.
But it is a fair shake to say that over the last few weeks, maybe sort of like for me, sort of 6 weeks. I think that all the teams in the league have looked like they're capable of picking up points off anybody.
Yeah,
Like Burnley obviously got a decent point against Chelsea. They
They
done
then
that.
beat Palace.
They beat Palace, which was huge.
Yes,
Like they're not dead and buried, and I was quite disappointed because I think it was only the week before that Scott
Burnley v
Parker had
Brentford game was fantastic.
that. Well, they were a bit robbed there because I think that was a bit. I think that some of those goals maybe should have, but they've got a fight in them, and they all have at the minute. I mean, the most disappointing team at the moment you would have to say is Spurs.
It would be the biggest relegation of our lifetime for sure.
It'd be the biggest relegation since probably Newcastle 15, 16 they got relegated.
But they'd been relegated before that.
Yeah, they'd been relegated before, but I'm talking about of this last generation.
I would go further than that. If Tottenham got relegated, it would be the biggest relegation of our lifetime.
I don't know. I think although I think when Leicester went down, obviously they'd not long won the FA Cup, the Community Shield.
No,
I think
but historically,
I agree with Sam on this.
Tottenham have always been a Premier League club, and the only other one you could say in our lifetime, and I don't include Leicester in this because Leicester had been up and down, and then had an amazing couple of years. The only other ones he could say was Nottingham Forest under Brian Clough in '99.
92, they got relegated.
But they got relegated.
They got relegated in '99, but they weren't. It wasn't. It wasn't Clough. It was Harry Bassett.
1992 then.
92 was Clough. 95 when they got relegated was. Yeah, 95 when they got relegated, I think it was with Frank Clark. And then 99 was the 99 season was Harry Bassett.
So probably Spurs then for me. But you were speaking about Scott Parker, and I know you really like him, George. So
yeah, I just find it really. I find it really hard because I'm really desperate for them to do well because I think Scott Parker is a good manager. I think that even with the squad of players he's got, they're not the worst squad we've ever seen, but I still think he's doing pretty well to have them competing in games because we've seen way better squads than this go down without a whimper.
Well, they would have gone, on to 23 points if they'd have beaten Brentford, and I think that was a massive game. I think that could be their nail in the coffin. I mean, I watched the highlights against Everton. Against Everton last night.
It's one of them that you look at and you say, that was their chance.
If they win that's their confidence. And I watched the highlights against Everton, and they look bereft of belief now.
But it might take a while. I think they are.
They haven't got a while though.
No.
The games are running out.
This is why I think it's important that I said what I said before. There's still 24 points left to play. I think that if we just move slightly on from Burnley a second, that's why what West Ham are doing right now is so important because they, in my eyes, before this little mini run they've had, look the worst team by a mile, and yet they managed
around Christmas,
and yet they've managed to do enough now that they are in the box seat to be safe. I think, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see what you think. Would you keep Scott Parker next season?
No.
If they were in the champ?
No, because
Because
not because they got relegated, but I'm thinking back where he started, and I don't think I know you rate him as a manager, but I'm not convinced. Did
At
very
Fulham,
well.
though, didn't he?
Did nobody got Fulham relegated? He's a championship manager. Now you could say, well, that was reason to keep him, but I just think, there's probably other candidates out there for that kind of job that are better than
he
Scott
hasn't.
Palmer.
It's quite funny because they got these new American owners and they have done well for the club, but it's like they haven't really flexed
Change.
the financial muscles. Is it like it still feels very much like the sort of team
Burnley
that
of old.
yeah, it still feels like the sort of team that Sean Dyche would have had.
Yo-yo team.
It's
But
just a strange one because I don't really know, like you're saying about getting rid of Scott Parker, but I don't really think there is another manager out there that I can think of. Because let's say, for instance, this guy Alan Pace, the owner, right? He will probably, based on what we've seen him do, he will sack Scott Parker and then go for probably another decent young manager with championship experience. So let's say, I don't know, off the top of my head,
how about somebody like, you know who I go for?
go on,
Xavier Lamouchi, or whatever his name was.
Sabri Lamouchi, that
Yeah.
nearly got Forest relegated to League One.
Well, I thought he
I've not
did an
even heard of this guy
excellent.
here on about.
He did an excellent job before they fell off at the end of that season.
The one thing I do think about the Burnley ownership is I think it would like. Do you know I could see doing a good job at a Burnley, like somebody like Gary O'Neill.
How about
Oh, that's a good
Steve?
shout.
How about Steve Cooper?
Not a bad shout. Depends. I don't know how he's getting on with Bromby though.
Mm, yeah. Well,
So yeah,
so
I don't know. I think the thing
it
is that
was interesting though what you say about Burnley. They haven't really. They're still the Burnley
yeah,
three ownership.
and the like some might say this is a good thing, and I do agree it is, but it also is proving to be an issue in my eyes. There's still it's pretty much the same team that they went up with.
With, and they didn't really strengthen. Yeah.
And then the strengthening came. They lost James Trafford, who was
Cal
probably going to go.
Walker
It
came
was
in.
probably going to go anyway. Cal Walker's a good signing on paper. They brought Dubravka in, who I think is a good goalkeeper, but when he's bad, he's really bad. So is that the kind of goalkeeper that you want? Not really. But then again, he has got a lot of Premier League experience, and I think that
Because lost a lot of pace as well.
some of the saves that he makes are really, really good.
I
But
like
his
this Fleming guy. He's good.
yeah, Zion Fleming is very good. But again, like what they did is what I believe championship teams should do is they basically took a lot of the really good players from out of the championship. Like Fleming, for instance, was brilliant for Millwall. But that when you've got Sunderland spending, getting a guy who was 20th on the Ballon d'Or list, like is like Millwall's striker really going to do it for you? Like I'm not
If you're going to
being.
get the top championship players, then you've also got to sprinkle them with top level players, Premier League experience.
I mean, they did
Yeah.
do well. Obviously, they lost CJ Egan Riley to Marseille, which I think was a big blow because he's a great defender. But they kept Maxime Esteve, which I think was important because I know he was linked to like half the Premier League. So they've tried to do the best to keep what they had and what succeeded for them. But I think that's my biggest issue with Burnley is it just doesn't really feel like they've actually progressed the team, and that was part of the problem when like they went up under Vincent Company. He bought loads of players that then didn't really play in the Prem, and then they basically sort of stuck. Like it reminds me a little bit of Leicester's team. Like Leicester's team has basically been around about the same for the past 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And it coincides with the decline of that team because they've not brought in any big names. Like they lost Vardy, etc. But
They lost Tillemans,
yeah, they lost all sorts.
Barnes,
But
Madison,
what the weaker parts of that team
Schmeichel,
have remained, which is why they are where they are.
James Justin.
So it's a really strange. Well, James Justin's has done really well at Leeds. I've always rated him, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
but-
That's why I'm saying they
But
lost.
yeah, it's really interesting because I think if Burnley can't stay up, and I think it's quite unlikely, I think at the very least, they will probably finish as the 18th place team and not the 19th place team.
Do you think? Would you keep Scott Parker? Would you?
I
Or would you
would.
go? Thank you very much.
I would because he can get teams out of the championship.
But then what do you do next
Don't
season?
forget, if
then?
it wasn't for the fact that Vincent Company
Left for Bayern Munich.
they would have kept Vincent Company as well.
But then you could say,
I think though, I do think if they get relegated, and I want to continue to say if until it's obviously like it's definitely going to happen, because I don't feel about any of the teams at the bottom the way that I did, apart from maybe Wolves, the way that I did about Leicester or Southampton or Ipswich last season, where I just felt that they were definitely down almost instantly. But like if they go down, they've got to back Scott Parker, same as Wolves have got to back. I nearly said Steve Evans for some reason. Rob Edwards. And etc. I think at this current moment in time, my three to go down would be sadly Wolves, sadly Burnley, but not very sadly Spurs because of the way that club's been run over the last few years. I think that is
in your bottom three.
Right now. I think they're the worst team in the league by a mile. Spurs.
I agree, but you are having them in your bottom three. Wow.
Yeah, and that's with no bias either, because obviously I am a Chelsea fan.
I know. Yeah, I know
that. The same last week, Sam, you asked me, do you think they'll go down? And I said, I'm beginning to think yes.
But who would have thought that at the start of the season, boys?
Probably Tottenham fans.
No,
because you know what fans are like.
They did finish 17th last season, maybe a bit warning. But it is fair to say if they hadn't had their injuries, they wouldn't be where they are.
Yeah, but I think that was fair to be said when it was being said by like Big Ange and stuff like that. Now let me ask you another question. Did you, by any chance, watch Big Ange's interview on Stick to Football?
The one he did with, I saw the one on the overlap.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Where he said basically, people believe Spurs are a big club. They're not a big club.
Yeah, and they don't behave like a big club.
Yeah, they're not run like a big club.
I read about that. Yeah.
They're not run like a big club should have been run. I'm gonna pose you a question. If Spurs hadn't sacked Ange Postecoglou, where would Spurs be now?
But with the injuries, it's all injury dependent.
Yeah, but scratch the injuries
I don't know.
for a moment.
Is that
I'm just talking
teams?
about if they would have kept him.
Mid-table.
Will?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go for that. I mean, they certainly wouldn't be in the top four, and I don't think they'd be in the European places. But yeah, not where they are. Yeah.
I don't think they would have been much better with Ange, but I think they would have been better than this. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't think they would have been pulling up trees or in Europe or whatever. But
Well,
I
they
do.
would have been in Europe because
Yeah,
they
but you know what
won
I
the.
mean? No, you know what I mean? I mean, they wouldn't have been like top four, top six.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I
yeah,
think that they definitely would have been somewhat better off.
yeah. It's curious their form in the Champions League
Yeah, they're doing pretty well.
compared to the domestic
I
league.
mean, I said to you, Sam, wouldn't it be funny if Spurs won the Champions League, for example, but yet be relegated from the Premier League or something?
That'd be amazing. Paul Merson said it the other day. He said Tottenham fans get ready to be playing Lincoln City next season. Which is from who gone down too well, but
Oh, well, I saw on because I was following on the live text, that they said Lucasberg Val, saying looking rather glum. Yeah, he might be facing Lincoln City next season.
Yeah, we'll talk about them in a little bit. They're fantastic, by the way.
well, but just we'll come back on Spurs, but or maybe we won't. But I'm just thinking of our order and Spurs' biggest rivals, or one of them, West Ham United, and their revival. What we thinking about that?
I think it's a very good job by Nuno in circumstances that aren't great because that's not a well-run club either.
No, I
No,
agree.
and the fans hate the stadium. They hate it,
They've
and that
never
can't
been
help
happy
them
with it.
for them.
Yeah, they never
But
wanted
it's
to move
not
out of Upton Park.
not a football stadium either, is it? They rent it, they lease it. Sorry, no, they rent it, and it's got that bloody running track, and the fans are so far away from the pitch. Can't
Yeah,
help but doing that.
they've got a lot again. It's sort of been the story of West Ham in the last few years. They've got a lot of work to do in the summer, I think.
Biggest mistake they made was, as good as Nuno has turned out to be now, was getting rid of David Moyes.
Yeah, but he had to go, I think.
Why?
Because
Because
he'd
I
done
just think
everything he could there.
I think that it was the time. I think he said it himself. I think he felt it was getting to the end of his tenure anyway.
Only because the fans weren't having him.
Yeah, but it's the fans aren't having like
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the West
I
Ham.
don't think he plays a better style of football with Everton than than he did at West Ham.
But is his style that bad though?
But
He
no,
doesn't.
this is what I'm
I
saying.
watched Everton and they look quite a good team.
Yeah, they're not Everton aren't terrible by any stretch.
But West Ham weren't terrible. He got them 6th and 7th, and then all right, they finished 15th, but they won the Conference League,
No,
and then he got
this
them
is
in
why I
10th.
always find like the styles of play conversation very hard because what do fans want? Do fans want to win or do they want to watch good football?
But if you're paying to watch
Because
a football game, you want to be entertained, don't you?
Well, I want to be entertained by winning, and if we play good football as well, then
if you
that's
play good football but then you're diabolical at the back and lose every week,
like Hans Postecoglou did.
well, it makes me think about there's two examples. There's Ange and there's Kevin Keegan's entertainers team in the
And
90s.
there's been some company a little bit with Burnley
Yeah,
last
they
season.
played good football, but they didn't have the capabilities to properly play out from the back, which
Exactly.
meant that they were always going to get unstuck by playing out from the back because they didn't have players that could correctly do
Same
playing
with
out from the
Russell
back.
Martin. Same with Russell Martin.
Yeah, and I think I watched an interview with Russell Martin with Gary Lineker, and he basically said that he never would have changed the way that he did things, but he knew that he didn't really have the players to do what he wanted to do.
But yeah, why did he still do it?
Because
Surely,
if that's
surely,
yeah,
but surely that's spiking off you. That's
cutting off your nose
spike.
to spite your face.
Yeah, because you're not going to be there. It's like Ruben Amorim. You know, I'm playing five at the back, and not even the Pope
Not
will
even
get
the
me to
Pope
change.
can make me change.
I'm playing five at the back. You haven't got the players to play the system you wanted. It's all very well having an ideal way of playing and buying players over time to suit that system, but I don't get these managers that will play their style at all costs, even when they're players. They haven't got the personnel for it. You
Yeah,
adapt. You change. Ranieri, when he came into Leicester, went, "Oh, we're not going to make an impact by playing like Barcelona because we'll get beaten up every week, but we'll play on the counter attack and look what happened to them." So
yeah.
you play
Also,
to your players' strength.
a very famous Tinker Man, Ranieri. Anyway, like he loved to change the team.
But he didn't tinker that much at Leicester.
No, but he was capable of changing his team depending on what he needed.
Look, that's my point precisely.
Which, by the way, is what you've got to do. In my opinion, the way that modern football works doesn't quite doesn't quite add anymore because it shouldn't be about the way the manager wants to play. It should be about adapting what you want to do to the
The
team.
players you've got.
Again, we're talking about
Correct.
Harry Redknapp.
Correct.
I was listening to Crouchy the other day, and he was saying, you know, people think Harry Redknapp only played one way. Harry Redknapp switched the team depending on whether Crouch was playing with Defoe, or you know, it was, or it wasn't, or it was like Keane or Defoe. He changed the team.
And depending on the opposition they were
Yeah,
playing.
absolutely, yeah. So it's really crazy, but yeah, that's why I think this. If we go back to like, you know, the Spurs with Igor Tudor, I just think it's absolutely nuts to put a manager in that position because
Somebody's got to do it.
somebody's got to do it. But
I think that maybe they should have got Ryan Mason till the end.
Ryan, no.
yeah, but Ryan, to be honest, Ryan Mason's West Brom career looks a lot better considering that what's happened with Eric Ramsey.
Well, yeah, that is true. Eric Ramsey didn't last long, did he?
44, 45 days.
Dear me. So anyway, going back to West Ham, I played a manager that does change and understands his team is Nuno. And he's taking the likes of Kilman out of the back. You know, he's put obviously Fernandez is playing more. He's got and he's getting a tune out of him. He's got Somerville in his right position. He's you know
He's been unbelievable, Somerville.
he's put Souček back where in the team, but put legs around him. So what are we thinking of the job Nuno's done?
I think it's probably about as good as can be done with what he's got around him.
Yeah,
I think
he's
West
doing a
Ham
good
have some
job.
good players. I think West Ham have some good players, to be fair.
Somerville particularly comes to mind.
Somerville, Bowen. I think Fernandez is an excellent player.
Yeah, he's impressed.
Wilson, I don't know why he doesn't start him more, because he's a great player.
Well, if it wasn't for that winner against Spurs, I think he would have been out on his ear. It's funny how football works, doesn't it?
But I think he's a great player. The big one, I'm surprised that they didn't at least keep him to the end of the season. Better than Odegaard is Lucas Paqueta.
But he didn't. He
I know he
wanted
was.
to go.
I know, but I would have thought they would have said stay on loan till the end of the season or whatever.
I think he was desperate to get out of England because I think he knew he was going to get done by the FA.
He got found to be innocent.
Is that so that's out of the way? Is it all that?
Yeah, I think that's cleared up.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that.
They couldn't find sufficient evidence.
So, but obviously the statement that he put out had said, you know, after everything that happened, I want to be away from here, which I can understand, you can absolutely respect that, because given the fact that he was found not guilty, I think the people accusing look a bit stupid.
Of course, but he could have said West Ham stuck by him, so stay till the end of the season.
Another one of those difficult questions in my head, that one, to be honest with you.
Put yourself in Paqueta's shoes, Sam. What would you have done?
You'd have stayed.
Jordan knows what I'm like.
Sam would have stayed. I don't know.
You live and die for the badge, don't you? Yeah.
I wouldn't leave the club in trouble. But anyway, they're doing well, and I'm glad to see Hermanson back in, because I think he's a really good goalie as well.
I think his confidence was completely shot, and he needed some time and some care before anything else.
Because I think he is a top goalie. I saw some of the saves he made for Leicester last year. Brilliant goalie.
Yeah, he's an excellent keeper, definitely. I agree.
So West Ham stay up, boys?
Yes.
Will they be blowing bubbles in the Premier League next season?
I'm gonna say West Ham stay up. Yeah, I'll stick with Wolves, Burnley, and Spurs for now.
What's changed? Does Nuno simplify things? Is it a belief thing? What's changed for?
I think it's just having people that can score goals.
Yeah, and they look good defensively as well.
Yeah, obviously one of the most, like, Max Kilman is a great player, but it definitely hasn't worked out for him at West Ham so far.
And he's got his old manager in the door as well.
And I think Disassi is a good signing, and he's been decent from the bits I've seen of him.
He's played very well considering he's hardly played for a year.
Yeah, but then he was always, in my eyes, the defender that caught the eye for Chelsea, for obviously Colwell as well.
But I mean, considering he hadn't been match sharp for a year, I mean, he's come in and hit the ground running.
Done well, sign of a good player, that.
Yeah. And that Juice's a good player. I like, and he won the African Cup of Nations, and stuff like that can lift a team. You know, we're getting an African Cup of Nations winner back, and he has that winning feeling.
Yeah, and then you've also got, they've got young players, young academy players in the team. Ollie Scholes, who I think on the whole has been decent, although he has made some mistakes. And
Freddie Potts.
the biggest one for me, I was just going to say that, is Freddie Potts, who's obviously his dad has got a massive affiliation with the club. His brother played for the club, and his dad was obviously one of West Ham's top guys in the 90s, and that's important. I think it like you sort of you look at West Ham. I feel like they lost a massive chunk of who they were when they lost Mark Noble. But to have somebody like that, like a Potts,
Rice.
yeah, and to lose Noble, to lose Rice, it's a big thing. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I definitely think they're in the strongest position of the foot. Let's say bottom 5. Let's go. And let's include. We have I included Leeds in that. Leeds,
Yeah,
Forest,
that's Tottenham.
West Ham, Burnley, Wolves.
Tottenham.
Yeah, 5. So let's say Tottenham. So let's say bottom 6. The bottom 6, they're in the strongest current position in my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I think Leeds will survive because of that.
Yeah, I think Leeds will be fine.
And they've really turned a corner recently, so.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting about Leeds is the pressure starts to be on Leeds, and they pull a result, and then they're okay.
Although I think Daniel Varga has surprised me this season with the way he changed after drawing the Man City game, wasn't it? Do you remember when they were 2-0 down and came back to 2-2 and okay, they lost? But he changed system. We talk about changing system to suit your players. And it seemed to have worked, so in the whole.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
So, go on.
do we think, moving on to the next team, if we're going by, position, what do we think about Forest and their changing of manager? Because we haven't talked a lot of football. As we said, I've been busy and things so we didn't get like that conversation we had about Igor Tudor is the first conversation we've had. We haven't had a conversation since Dyche was sacked, since Pereira's come in.
Yeah.
What do we think about all of that?
Lunacy.
Well, before we talk about the footballing side, me and Will were having a chat last week, Jordan, and I'll bring this up now because it's a good time. And I said, "Can you hear me all right? Yeah, just double checking because my case."
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, excuse me. We said that you should only be allowed to hire up to 3 managers in one season, and we were debating whether there should be a manager transfer window, which I think we have discussed before.
Yeah, we have discussed that before.
Interested to get your points on your views again on those things, and the fact that Will said you should be allowed to have 2 managers, I think, and 1 interim manager.
Exactly.
And I said you should be able to have up to 3 permanent managers, but then that's it. But then we had. What
are they on this season? Are they on? Is this the third one?
Fourth.
Oh, yeah. So they started with Nuno and Dyche. Yeah, I think 3 is. I think 3 is a bit ridiculous, but I think it still seems pretty fair. 3 permanents.
Or would you be in the opinion of it's the owner's money, the owner, it's his club essentially, or her club, or their club, that they should just,
I can't respect any owner who, ends up having 4 managers in a season. Lunacy.
I think it's. Was Sean Dyche doing a bad job? Really?
Not really. They were
Not in
good
my opinion.
and he's got a track record of keeping teams up.
I think they were safer under Sean Dyche than they are under Vitor Pereira.
Yeah. So going back to my point, how many managers would you allow a season, George?
I think 3 is ridiculous, but I can see a rationale to have 3, so we'll say 3.
So you don't go on the view that it's the owner's club and the owner should be able to do what they want.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think there should always be limits, because 4 permanent managers, when you've sacked the 3rd permanent manager and they were talking about him maybe being manager of the month for that month, is absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Absolute crazy.
Yeah. And on the other point, a manager transfer window, just to bring that back up.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting idea. I don't necessarily know how it would work, and I also think that there are situations, like for instance, like Ange did have to go, in my opinion. He was awful. If we did a manager transfer window, they probably wouldn't have been able to bring. Although, mind you, he didn't have a club, so I suppose they would have brought Sean Dyche in anyway. It depends, I guess. I think it's a good idea. I just don't think it necessarily would work as well as people think it does, but I can't necessarily pinpoint why I feel that way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then to get George's view first on Forest as a whole and having to change managers and from the players' side and how you think they've done this season and everything else.
It's as simple as it's a shambles. It's a great club with some great players that definitely should not be where they are. I think the Nuno thing damaged the club majorly. I think
They should have kept him.
Irregardless of who they brought in next, obviously it didn't work out for Big Ange, but I think after all that had gone on, I think there was nobody that was going to succeed. I think Sean Dyche was a great appointment because he was at the club as a youngster. It's where he started off. He played under Cloughy. It's the right kind of appointment that we've gone back to a couple of times tonight already. That's the kind of appointment that you want. And like Sean Dyche is not going to pull up trees, but he was playing a different style of football to Sean Dyche ball, in my opinion. When I watched Forest, I enjoyed watching Forest under him.
And it was a similar base to what the players were used to under Nuno. Defensively.
Whereas Vitor Pereira, I think, did a good job with Wolves and was pretty...
Not bad. He wasn't bad, though.
Yeah, not bad and unfairly sacked from Wolves. But
now, apparently,
would he have been...
the Forest players, they had a chat with Marinakis and they had a vote, what do you think of Sean Dyche? And apparently, they weren't really particularly thrilled with him. And that's what...
See, that doesn't sit well. If that's true, that doesn't sit well with me, because the owners should not be.
It's behind the back of the manager.
Well, yes, I agree.
Fair enough if that's how the players feel, but that is shady in my eyes.
I wouldn't be having that at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're not in a great place. I think they will survive, but I think it's only just.
And is it more on the players what's happened, or on?
No, I think it's on one man.
Marinakis.
It's on one man, and it's Marinakis.
And to try and get the players to play different styles in one season is very difficult.
It's absolutely fine to want to change. I think it's not okay to sack a manager when they're not doing that badly. I think the Nuno thing, okay, that if their relationship or a relationship between somebody within the club's hierarchy is untenable, then I can understand that change. I can understand the Postecoglou change. It was not great. The type of person that Postecoglou is, I guarantee he did not gel with Marinakis at all. I bet they didn't have a very good relationship. But the Sean Dyche one, I struggle with a lot, and I also think that it's it's a little bit jobs for matesy with Vitor Pereira coming in, because it's another sort of, I don't know, like I seem to remember that he was previously the Olympiacos manager. Don't quote me on that.
Yes, he was, I think, yeah.
I seem to remember that he was very, very successful in his time at Olympiacos. I don't know. I don't really know why the Vitor Pereira appointment doesn't sit well. I think it doesn't sit well because we were finally seeing an English manager who got a lot of stick for playing poor football play an exciting brand of football. All right, were they getting wins every week? No, but were they doing enough to survive? Yes. Should he have gone?
And in the situation they were in, that's all you need to survive.
Yeah, that is a good squad.
It's a very good squad.
But if you remove the 11, is the bench as good? Let's say.
I think it's better than it was last season.
I think they've got an incredibly strong core of players, and then it slowly degrades as you go around it.
But they've got a better bench than they had last season. Dan and Joy.
Can I just interrupt you? Sean Dyche was on a podcast, The Football Boardroom, and this is what he had to say about, his Forest sacking. Well, I don't statistically and factually know emotion to it. If you look at the stats and facts, even after the last game against Wolves, our current form at the time was 9th in the Premier League. The stats and the facts were there clear as day from my record. From when we got there to when we ended, we'd have been 17th in the Premier League. So on factual data and analysis, I can't understand any of the decisions that were made. But football is changing and we witnessed it.
Yeah.
Well, can't argue with that.
There's absolutely nothing to say to that.
And he also hinted that keyboard warriors and unrest among the dressing room contributed in the decision to give him the boot.
Damn. Yeah, but I don't like that. That's giving players too much power.
Yes.
Because you might just
say about it.
Well, to be fair, I like Sean because he's very straightforward and very
I agree.
Clear.
Yeah.
You don't get any show without punch, do you?
No.
With Sean, and he's right. I think Marinakis has been a bit ridiculous. And to have 4 managers.
Good leadership, you need to balance it with calm rationale, and Marinakis hasn't got that.
Yeah, and you'd have to say the decision to bring Eddie in has backfired as well.
Yeah, especially if what we're hearing about him being told to stay away is true.
Yes.
But what? Eddie's been told to stay away from the club?
Yes.
By Marinakis?
Well,
I'm not sure who by. Let me read the article.
From the training ground, yeah.
But what is he doing at the training ground?
Maybe doing everything else and spying.
No, he's probably saying you need to pick this team, you need to pick that team. Which would be completely above board.
Yeah, well, it's
mercenary. So yeah, Nottingham. I mean, where do you stand on people wanting Nottingham Forest to go down just because Marinakis can get his medicine.
No,
Stupid.
I will admit that's what I said, didn't I, last week? That I do hope
The thing is, right, like, I'm going to strip it back to business over football, right? If Forest get relegated, if Burnley, if Wolves, if West Ham get relegated, we'll talk about Spurs in a second, because that would be an absolutely catastrophic relegation, considering how big you've got the training ground costs, you've got the ground costs. Yeah, but just talking about those four, if any of those four go down, people lose jobs, revenue is lost, but most importantly, maybe they'll lose a couple of kitchen staff, including one that might have been there for 20 years, right? That's so nobody ever should say they'd be happy for somebody to get relegated, no matter how bad the situation is.
I'd be happy for Liverpool and Man City to get relegated.
But would you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd absolutely love it.
So, yeah, but that's ridiculous. So people,
No, it's not.
Yeah, but
I don't wish anybody at the club clubs any harm, and especially with Liverpool, they've been through a terrible, terrible time off the pitch. Tragedy, it's been awful, and my heart goes out. But from a purely footballing point of view, I would love to see.
Yeah, that's acceptable in my eyes. But what I'm saying is that you can't just look at it like that, because you can't. Because it's not.
Why have you just said
just.
Why have you just said it was acceptable?
I'm saying that if you're looking at it from a football point of view, you can say, oh, like as a fan, I'm like, oh yeah, let Port Vale get relegated, great. But
yeah, brilliant. Take them out of existence.
No, but taking that out of but removing that and thinking about the human element. Port Vale get relegated. People who have supported that club, who've worked there for years, are going to lose the job. That club gets a step closer if they get relegated, as all clubs do if they drop down in revenue. Get us a step closer to being the next Bury, the next Macclesfield.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately,
you don't want that.
I would be quite happy to not see City and Liverpool again and Port Vale.
But you're speaking from a footballing point of view.
Yeah,
because if you knew, let's say, like, not to get too about our personal lives, but I work in Stoke, right? Probably about 5-10 minutes away from Burslem and Port Vale's ground. I've driven around there, right? I understand, I know people that support that club, right? I've known people that have been part of that club. So, from a human point of view, and I think, we know people that are City fans. One of our best friends is a massive Liverpool fan.
Yeah, it's great. You go, what a wonderful history. Bye.
You're missing the point.
No, I get from their point of view they wouldn't have a club and it'd be awful for those fans, but I couldn't give a damn whether Liverpool stayed up or stayed in existence. And I bet a lot of Liverpool fans couldn't give a damn if United.
Oh no, they can go. They can go.
There you go.
No, but I'm just messing about. let's say if something bad happened to Man United, that would seriously damage English football. Same as it would for Liverpool. Maybe not so much City, but Liverpool definitely. Arsenal, Chelsea, Spurs in some ways.
Yeah.
That's why I separated Spurs from the other four, because with the facilities that Spurs have got,
Well, it
Spurs
will be disastrous for Tottenham.
Spurs will die in the Championship. That club
But
will
I,
that club will die
but I
because
bet many Arsenal fans are laughing their heads off.
yeah, they probably are. But if they sat there and they looked at it from a human point of view, they wouldn't be. But that's part of the problem. That's part of football's problem. Is that footballers aren't humans, fans aren't humans, the staff aren't humans. It's all about the
No,
football.
I think they're humans, of course I do.
No, but I'm talking about the average fan.
But I don't, I give a damn about the humans, but I don't give a damn about the entity they
Also,
work for.
your dad supports Man City.
Yeah, sad man.
Jesus Christ.
Very sad. So,
Right.
of course,
I kind of want to get.
never wish anybody no ill will. And I think people are amazing that give their time to clubs, but yeah, just Port Vale, if they could just go out of existence, I'll pull the plug on them quite happily. Go on, carry on, George.
I kind of want to get away from the relegation chat because we've spent ages We've spent probably. I'd like to think. We've spent about an hour just on these four. Well, we only actually talked about four clubs, so speed it up a little bit,
Okay.
and then go. After Forest is Leeds. My opinion on Leeds: two
But a
things.
brilliant turnaround.
Two things. They've got a very similar squad to the one that they were relegated with. That probably, if it wasn't for all the carnage that was going on there, wouldn't have even got relegated years ago. And Daniel Farke is and always has been a great manager because, contrary to popular belief, even to get out of the Championship, whether you get relegated or not, is an absolutely mammoth undertaking. So he's always been a good manager, and he has done really well. They've not spent.
Orange now.
He's just done amazing. So yeah, that's great. I think they're in a great place. I think
A massive club as well.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Same as, by the way, because we haven't talked about it. I'm really, really happy that Tammy Abraham is back at Villa.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for Calvert-Lewin. I think he provides a real headache for Thomas Tuchel in the summer. But I'm sure we'll talk about that another time. I think Leeds will be okay. I think they just have to slowly build. I think they can get away with being one of those teams that slowly builds because that core is stronger than ever.
And they've got a massive advantage over lots of clubs, which is their fan base is unbelievable.
Yeah, and the players they brought in are genuine upgrades. Lucas Perry over Elan Melier and Carl Darlow. I like Carl Darlow. He's a great number 2. But definitely over Melier, upgrade. Right? For instance, Anton Stack. What a great find he is.
Yeah.
His free kicks are unbelievable. He's a great midfielder.
He's physical as well. Unlike his Norwich side, he's added physicality, Barker.
But Stack, Longstaff, Bijol at the back, Sebastian Bornau at the back, great buys.
How about Strauch? Is he a new signing?
Pascal Strauch is not a new signing, but he's very good. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, of course, fantastic.
James Justin.
James Justin, not a new signing, but a very
He
good
was.
player.
He was. New signing at the start of the season.
Was he?
Yeah, he was at Leicester last season.
That tells you, though. That's what I mean about this core. You wouldn't know that he was new. In my eyes, it's like he's been playing there for years.
Did Jaden Bogle go at the start of the season? From Sheffield United, or was he there last year?
No, he was there last year. They bought him, I want to say last year.
What is wrong with you?
Sorry, it's just your comments about City and Port Vale, which is so funny. Sorry.
But yeah, Leeds are finally getting some stability ownership wise after the takeover of the 49ers group. Happy with it all, to be honest. I haven't got anything bad to say about Leeds.
Yeah, there was a lot, because weren't the 49ers the ones that were going to buy Everton at one point? And there was a big...
They did. It was that they looked at it. Obviously the people that have it now are 777, which is the guy that owns Roma, the American dude.
007, to be honest.
Yeah, I wonder Dominic Calvert-Lewin with some of his looks, he could be the new 007, couldn't he?
Good actually. Although he is made of glass.
Yeah, well, to be honest, again, this is what a good management team looks like, because Daniel Farker must be in constant communication with the physio team, and I feel like they've managed him really, really well this year.
Yeah, got the best out of him. That's for sure.
Moving up next to Brighton.
Interesting season, haven't they? Very up and down.
Don't you think it? It feels a bit transitional. I feel like
even though they've still got a lot of their core players, yeah, it does feel transitional.
It doesn't really feel like.
Does it feel transitional if they've still got pretty much the same 11?
Because I don't know, I just feel like they've brought in quite a few players, and I don't think they've really bedded in yet. Do you know what I mean, Sam?
Yeah, a lot of their signings I didn't even know.
Diego Gomez from Orlando is obviously one that I'm aware of, and he's been brilliant.
Viva.
Who?
Viva. They've got somebody called Viva, haven't they?
Viva, Matt Viva.
Yeah, him.
He was there last season.
Was he?
Yeah.
But
you're not very good at this, are you?
They got quite a few. That Dick Hyper is in there. Yeah.
He's taking a bit of time, in my opinion.
Obviously, there's a few. Brighton, obviously, Gross has gone back there, which is great.
Glad to see that. And needed, by the way.
Yeah, but very up and down, and actually, he's had a bit of criticism at Fabian Herzl. What are we making of that?
Yeah, I get it a little bit, because it's the first time that we've seen where they've just done the business that they do, and they've just been okay. Yeah, they like the best way to describe Brighton's season for me is they've been all right.
Yeah, just okay, good in spells. But yeah, I think they miss JP, to be honest.
I forgot who JP is. Oh, João Pedro.
Yeah.
I got confused there, because who's JP? But okay, yeah.
They call Mateta JP as well, but.
Well, yes.
Yeah. John.
Yeah, that's who comes to my head when you said JP. I actually thought you meant Mateta.
No, I was thinking of João Pedro, but he's a real loss.
But yeah, they've lost key players, and quite similarly to, I think, the team that we're next going to talk about, who lost, I think, the biggest key player, which of course is Palace. Losing Gahey, I think, has derailed them, and obviously losing JP to injury. Yeah, but one last word on Brighton. I think that considering I think they've punched above their weight for a very long time in the Premier League, and they are probably at the level in the table that they should be. And I think that part of the problem with any success is it makes fans hungry for more, or believe that the higher level that they maybe shouldn't have been at is where they deserve to be and where
Because
they should be all the time. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
they had Europa League football, didn't they, as well, a few years ago? So,
Yeah, because of course,
yeah.
Graham Potter, Roberto De Zerbi, and when Fabian Herzl first took over, yeah, they've all had brilliant seasons, haven't they?
From club, though, Brighton.
Yes.
Moving on to Palace.
Can I just say one more thing about Brighton?
Yeah.
What are we thinking about James Milner breaking the Gareth Barry's all-time Premier League appearance record?
Do you think that they were aware that was happening, so they've purposely given him a bit more game time so he can break it? Not to be cynical. Do you think he really earned the game time that he's got?
Well, we can't really judge that, can we? Because we're not there.
No, I'm just playing devil's advocate because a big part of me feels like he only got so much game time because he was so close.
There
to
might be
the
some
record.
of it because he might have said, "Look, I want to retire at the end of the season," and he's just not, and he's not come out and said it. But I'm sure Fabian Herzl wouldn't pick him if he didn't think he would help the team as well. So there might be a bit of that in there, but I mean, James Milner is the ultimate professional as well. He is still the apparently on all the fitness tests, the fittest player at Brighton, which considering he's got players 22, 23 years his junior is quite unbelievable. But in answer to your question, there might be a little bit of that. There was a bit of that with Steve Bruce when he was at Newcastle, giving him his 1,000th game as a manager. But yeah, there might be a bit of that. But you know what? He's a very capable operator. And to be fair to Brighton, they had been struggling a bit over recent weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
So they might have felt they needed an experienced head in there to get them through.
Which Milner can
What do you
that
think?
to them in spades.
What do you think?
Yeah, I just think that I don't know. I think it's quite cynical of me to say, but I do think that it definitely hasn't. It definitely had a part to play that it probably puts a few more eyes on Brighton if he's playing games and breaking records.
However, I'm sure Fabian Herzl wouldn't pick him if he didn't think he wouldn't have, if he thought he was going to lose games because of him.
Yeah.
So you must trust him enough. But yeah, there's probably a bit in there. And the other player I want to talk about, just briefly, is the evergreen Danny Welbeck. We talk about Calvert-Lewin knocking on the England door. What about DB?
You do
Class.
like your initials, don't you, tonight?
Yeah.
Just class for me. Just class.
A nice guy as well. I never wanted him to leave United. You know why? Because he was one of those players. You know, like Robbie said about Darwin Nunez at Liverpool. Right.
Yeah.
But as a fan, you just love him. He might not be the best player, but he works so hard. That was Danny Welbeck at United.
Yeah.
Class.
I agree. I'm getting really mindful about time, so I don't know how to speed this up.
Well, Palace. I think we should talk about Palace because of the
talk
glass.
about Palace. we'll have a sentence on Newcastle, a sentence on Sunderland, a sentence on Fulham, a sentence on Bournemouth, sentence on Everton, and then from 7th to 1st, we'll do a bit more chat.
Yeah, that's a
Okay, yeah.
So, we'll let Will start with Palace, I think.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, losing Gay was a big blow. And it's kind of a shame that Gay didn't stay until the end of the season, but he got his move, and most importantly, he deserved his move. He earned his move, and I'm very happy. And I've said this on this show so many times that he puts Alexander Isak and Wissa to shame, absolutely to shame. Yeah, and it's a shame the Oliver Glasner era is ending at Crystal Palace, but what an era it's been. And yeah, the best thing they could do is finish off the season on a high and say thank you very much and see you later.
Win the Conference League, maybe.
Yeah, I think that the Glasner situation has got really toxic. So I'm quite glad for Palace fans that he's going.
Good on Steve Parish, though, for still, keeping him till the end of the season.
Yeah, I think that a lesser owner might have said, right, see you later then.
Yeah.
But I've always liked, I was listening to Steve Parish talking before with Gary Lineker. I really like Steve Parish. And,
Don't say that, Simon Jordan.
Well, he's a cock. So, there is that, because he was saying that he was on. This is how bad your opinions are, Will. Simon Jordan said the exact same thing about Forest as you did.
Oh wow!
That they should get relegated. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, just very briefly for me back on Forest.
Oh God, he's at it again.
But
go on.
Obviously, my dad's dad, who I never met, supports Forest. So it's great that they're in the Premier League and it's great with the history. But I cannot respect an owner who has hired 4 managers. It's lunacy, it's madness, and I hope they go down and Marinakis pays. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that. I mean, I think it's going to be interesting because I feel a bit like that Palace team is going to get picked apart in the summer. I think Lawton will go. I think JP will go.
Munoz maybe.
Munoz maybe, yeah. Maxence Lacroix is not a bad defender at all.
That could be the end of his season, maybe. Tonight.
Ismail Assar.
Because he had a shoulder injury.
Who did?
Munoz.
Oh really? Oh no, he's a great player. I'll miss him.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe Oliver Glasner thought, if I'm available, what about the United job? But I kind of think that for the average owner, he's probably done some damage to his reputation with some of the things that he said, even though he is well within his rights to say what he has said. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and do you think you have to remember you are working for this football club? However, I'll caveat that by saying I thought his comments about the fans staying humble were taken out of context a little bit. Because they were all saying,
fans just to have some perspective.
Well, yeah, and it was made out like he was attacking the fans, and I'm not sure it was really. But anyway, I'm not a Palace fan, and they you know, they will say, well, you've been here 5 minutes, mate, and we've been here for 50 years, 60 years, some of them. So, you know, it is what it is. But I really like Oliver Glasner. I really like him. I can't help but I listen to all his press conferences. I really, really like him. I really like him. I think some of the stuff he said is a bit silly about being abandoned and all that. But when you still, I get his point, but when you're still employed by the club, but everybody goes on about how terrible Palace have been recently. He made the point that they are, but this is the second best season points wise at this point in Crystal Palace's history. So, you know, only second to last season. So maybe perspective does need to be played a bit. But I do think losing Gehi, all the uncertainty didn't help the players. But to be fair, they seem to have ridden through that. I thought at United, before Max and Lacroix got sent off at the weekend, they played really well. They're scraped for against Wolves, but they're playing well at the minute. They probably should have beaten Burnley and threw it away, but then they've had a few wins as well, and obviously beat Brighton and Tottenham tonight. So they are only, looking at the table here, they are only 5 points off a Conference League place, and if it goes down to 8 teams, they are only 4 points off. So, yeah.
I think it's not a great situation, and I think that he wasn't helped, and I think that he in turn said some things that he definitely shouldn't have said, and I think that he will go, and I hope that Steve Parish will get the appointment right, because he has a very hit and miss track record. For every Glasner, there's a Ronald de Boer, so Frank de Boer. For every Frank de Boer, there's a Roy Hodgson the first time, not the second.
Alan Potter was pretty good, wasn't
he? He was all right.
Got them to the FA Cup final.
Yeah, but
apart from that, he didn't do very good.
So we'll see. Again, I think the next appointment for them is an important one.
Thomas Frank could be a good fit there.
Yeah, I could see that actually. I could see that.
Could you see their former captain going back, Gareth Southgate, going, you know what? Premier League, I played for Palace.
I like it, but I doubt they'll do it.
Because
I think that he will be looking, if he does get back in, I think he'll be looking for a bigger job.
Right. And if
get into management, do you think?
Well, that's what I mean. I don't necessarily think he is.
But if, let's say, Steve Parish knocks on his door, they've just won the Conference League, and he gets Europa League football, does that change anything?
Then he might do it. I just think that Palace in this current guise probably aren't what he wants.
Will Palace fans, because it does seem to have calmed down a bit now and results help with that, but and they're obviously safe as well, you'd imagine, but barring a catastrophic end to the season, but do you think that Palace fans will look back on the Glasner era with fondness, and he will
Yes,
go down as
of course they will. Yeah, of course he will.
hurt
Yeah.
for a little bit, but I would hope in time.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely going to be painful. I think that the last few weeks have really soured things. But I think
But think back to
once he
winning the FA
leaves,
Cup. Think back to
I think once he leaves the club, it's easier to look at it in a positive way.
And you just said when he leaves it'll be sore, but if he wins the Europa Conference League, will that soften the blow?
Uh, yes, but I don't think they're going to win it.
No, I don't.
I did, but I think they've massively lost momentum.
Yeah.
I think that even if they are on paper the best team in the
I think
competition, which they're
Strasbourg will
not,
win it.
yeah, I think if Gary O'Neill can do all right with Strasbourg, they've basically nailed on to win it.
I hope Palace win it, but yeah. Anyway, interesting one. That interesting, and
Right?
as for Glasner, we'll see where he goes. The glass half full, glass all over,
Can we move
glass
on?
all
looking on
over.
broken glass now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll tie these next few in together. I just want a your
Quick
quick
sentence, okie
opinions.
dokie.
Okay, Newcastle.
Had a very poor season domestically. Obviously, Europe has something to play with that and the PSR rules. But I do think that Eddie Howe could be in trouble at the end of the season.
I think that. Sorry, Will. I was just going to give my
Yeah,
opinion, but
no,
we said
that's
a
fine. You
sentence.
go.
No, no. I was just going to say I think that the win against Man United last night has probably gone a long way to relieving some pressure, which was needed.
Big win for Newcastle last night. Big win.
Will Asula as well, in terms of unlikely scorers. Although I like Will Asula and always have done, and always thought he could come good. It's a big moment for him.
Fantastic goal as well. He scored last night.
Um, your opinion then on Newcastle?
I think the Alexander Isak saga obviously was a shambles, and don't forget they didn't have a chief executive, they didn't have a technical director, um, so yeah, a lot of things were going against, and it was always going to be a tough season with Europe, so it was never going to match the success of last season. It was always going to be tough, and I would hope that Eddie Howe would stay, but I do think his job might be on the line, maybe.
My opinion then, in a quick sentence, very poor. I think they have got a really uneven squad. Um, they've got two decent English goalkeepers in Ramsdale and Pope. They've got centre halves that are great when fit. They've got two very exciting fullbacks in Livramento and Hall, but
Livramento has been
they've
linked
had
with a move as well.
they've had issues. For me, they've got the best midfield three in the league.
I
Joe
agree with
Linton,
that.
Joe Linton, Tonali, and
Guimaraes.
Guimaraes. I think Harvey Barnes is fantastic and is definitely well within a shout of an England call up. I think that Anthony.
Scotland as well.
Yes, well, I think that he. I think that should he not get picked for England in the upcoming friendlies, I think he's got a massive decision to make in terms of where does he want to play his future internationally.
Oh, don't
Because
don't
I
Play
get
think
for your
you,
don't get
country.
Sam started.
Play for
I,
your country.
I think that I think that when you've been as consistently good as he's been this season, he absolutely deserves it. I think Gordon has been pretty poor this year. I think Voltamada is okay, but not
Don't
great.
forget though,
I think,
quite right.
he's adapting to a new league though.
yeah, but not for what did he pay for him? 70 million. It's way too much for that kind of player.
The Newcastle fan said he's one of the best technical players he's ever seen at Newcastle.
Oh, he's good with the ball at his feet. I just don't think he's he's not really a finisher, but I think he's good. Do you know what I mean? I like the way he is with the ball at his feet, but I don't think he is like he's not like in terms of what you need from a striker. He's not necessarily that.
Jacob Murphy's one of the most improved in the league in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. And yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't sack Eddie Howe. I can see why there might be some pressure on him because when they're great, they're great. When they're poor, they are shit. To put it bluntly. And we'll see. Next up is Sunderland. I'll start first here. There isn't very much to say other than Regis Labrie is fantastic.
Could be man of the season, maybe.
He has built a squad that has built on what they've already got with a very strong core of what they already had. They're safe as houses. Not a lot to say, really.
Yeah, I will second that with a brilliant season. Maybe they've just tired a bit towards as with the last couple of weeks, but they were on such good form. And one of the best newly promoted sides we've ever had.
Yep, and I would just say, fantastic job with one of the signings of the season in Granit Xhaka.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fulham, I just want to go first again just to give Marco Silva his flowers. And also, I've said this a few times, but I remember watching Harry Wilson as a young lad on loan at Crew Alex. And never in a million years would you have thought that he would get to the level that he did. He has, and he's got more levels to give. I think he's got a big move on his horizon.
Fulham not far, and Sunderland not far off the European places as well.
Absolutely not.
Well, your
And
view
I
on
think,
Fulham?
Marco Silva's finally found a club that he's settled and revived his managerial career in the Premier League. Good job.
Although, for me to come in, great season so far for Fulham. Didn't necessarily start off great, but we're playing good football. So yeah, good season. Could maybe get into Europe. We've got a really good team. Marco Silva though is out of contract at the end of the season.
Yes.
Does he sign a new one, or does his pastors new waiting for Marco?
It's an interesting one. We'll have to wait and see. I think.
I'm not sure.
Because I don't think personally, even though I think he could definitely do a good job at a bigger club, I don't think
the grass is not always
if I was him,
on the other side.
Yeah, I wouldn't go purely because I think there is a little bit more to achieve with this Fulham side. I think they are very near their full potential.
And they do seem
but
to
I
be
think
relatively run well.
Yeah, they've done well, to be honest.
He's matured, Marcus. So right to go from one manager out of contracts and high in demand to another, and that is Bournemouth and Andoni Iraola.
You first this time. I've gone first twice.
Right.
I'll go last.
Bournemouth, fantastic. Under Iraola, seemed to get better every season. Obviously, they started off unbelievably well. We're in the top 2, I think, at one time in November. Tailed off, but have come back strong, and yeah, have done brilliant. And Iriola's carried on after a rocky couple of years. Iriola's carried on the foundations really laid by Eddie Howe there, and they're back and they're playing some great football. And he, by all intents and purposes, is arguably the best coach in the league. Up there with Guardiola and Arteta. So, and obviously losing Semenyo and that story of him scoring the winner against Tottenham. We talk about good guys. Good on him.
I loved the storyline of Semenyo in his last game for the club, scoring what turned out to be the winner. I was thinking, brilliant. We love that.
Do you think? Yeah, Ryan's come in as well and been a good replacement. We talk about how Glasner has thrown his rattle out of his pram at times this year, but you've got to remember Bournemouth lost 3 of their back 4 at the start of the season, and
Hoydson.
what was the other guy who went to PSG? What was his name, George? You'll know.
Zabani.
Oh, that was
Zabani.
Zabani. Or Zabani, I don't know.
He's had a Barney. But
because how good, by the way, has James Hill been in defence?
And Truefair and Alex Jimenez.
Yeah, great buys.
Great replacements.
And Senesi is underrated as anything as well.
Yeah, so go on, you next.
Me next.
Oh, Will next too.
Go on then, Will.
Yeah, I think Arroyo, they're doing an absolutely brilliant job just picking up where he left off at Bournemouth.
Well, he is at Bournemouth.
Yeah, well, we say that, but I think that they didn't start very well. They started very well, and then their slump sort of made people question him a little bit. And the last few weeks, they've just got back to what they were. I think the best thing is they bought well in the summer, and although it's taken time for people to bed in, they have bedded in well. Like you said, Trafair, Jimenez has been made a permanent transfer as well, which is good. Like I said, James Hill and Senesi at the back have been fantastic. You mentioned Ryan, the Brazilian. Yeah, just a very
like Alex Scott, Tavernier.
Yeah, a very
Nielsen, solid.
A very well done job that I think, although a lot of people talk about Iraola as a coach, I think the actual job that he's done there still goes a little bit under the radar. Again, does that make sense? Like in terms of their position and etc.
He's done a phenomenal job there.
Is he there at the end of the season? Next year?
I hope so, but I think there'll be a hell of a lot of teams after him.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest one will be Spurs.
Talking about great players, somebody I really like to watch. When he shoots, he reminds me of Harry Kane with a little bat lift. I'm not saying he's as good yet, of course not, but I really like Junior Krupi.
He's gonna go very far, Krupi. He's got some future. And by the way, what scouting that is, because I remember, when did he sign for Bournemouth? Not this year, the year before.
Yeah, start this season, I think.
So in Football Manager 2024, so 2 years ago, so the year before Bournemouth bought him, I was recommended by my scouts Junior Krupi. I bought him, but sent him out on loan to Lyon, and he scored 27 in 43 games in Ligue 2. When Krupi came to the team, I actually decided to play him and give him a go, and he got so good he was in the France squad and became a starter in my team with like a full blown starter in my team within 3 years.
Wow.
So there's a reason that football clubs use the Football Manager scouting system, and that is a bona fide example of it.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Um,
They use that now.
yeah, he's phenomenal. Everton, I'll go last as well on this one. Whoever
Well,
wants to go first.
go first.
Yeah, I think David Moyes is finally the right fit, the right piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and good on him.
Is that it?
Full circle story, and yeah, that's it from me.
Is that all you've got to say about that?
You said you wanted a quick sentence. There's no point talking for the sake of it.
Right, okay. I'll go next then. Everton have really done well this season after a few tricky years. I know it's not all been plain sailing, but going into the new stadium, I thought they might struggle this year because of that. But yeah, they've been brilliant, and the addition of Dewsbury Hall and Jack Grealish when he was fit
It was reborn,
has
didn't
really helped. But I think their best player is Idian Ndai. What a player he is. But David Moyes, steady Eddie, knows the club, and yeah, they've done well in the new stadium.
Yeah, I'll second about Njai. What a pickup that is, by the way. To get
Sheffield
him,
United. He was playing for Boreham Wood, wasn't he, at one time?
yeah, moved to Marseille from Sheffield United, moved from Marseille to Everton. After not
Oh,
really doing that well for Marseille, by the way. Yeah, David Moyes and Everton just clicks. That new stadium is fantastic. They've bought well, they've strengthened well. In the last couple of weeks, Jordan Pickford has pulled off some of the best saves I've ever seen.
Good goalkeeper.
What a save! Who was that amazing save against? The unbelievable.
Tonali, it was against Tonali against Newcastle.
What
I've,
a what a save!
I've watched it about 100 times. I think it's
What
one of
a
the
save!
it's hit it so true that
How did he even see it?
I don't know how he saw. Yeah, like you said, I don't even know how he saw it, let alone saved it. And then obviously against Burnley the other day,
That was a great save.
an absolutely unbelievable save again from I think Lyle Foster.
Not quite as good as the
Not as good, but still very top level. Yeah, definitely.
England's number one for a reason.
Well, I just don't think that there's like, although admittedly I am not the biggest Jordan Pickford fan as a whole. I think like his shot stopping is there's nobody English better than him, and I don't think there ever will be at this point.
And he's never let England down ever.
No, and I think there's absolutely nobody that you could say like we haven't seen a lot of James Trafford, so maybe James Trafford might have given him a run for his money if he'd have been playing for City. I think there's nobody better than him that's English, so it can only ever be him to be England's number one, and he deserves it.
Yeah, brilliant goalkeeper.
Yeah,
and wouldn't you say that Everton Stadium is a proper football stadium? That's what I like about it.
I think it's a proper modern football stadium. Yeah,
as in the fans are close to the pitch. You know, it's not. And the acoustics are great, and the aesthetics great. It's great.
I would love to go.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
And maybe one day, because I think that would be a great time. And I know a couple of Everton fans. They're all fantastic. So I know that a day at Hill Dickinson would be quite unforgettable.
We'll get Robbie in the home end.
I think that'd be enjoyable, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Moving on to a team that I said were going to get relegated.
I think a lot of us do.
Brentford. I'll start because my stance on them was so strong. Keith Andrews, what a guy! Is all I'll say really. Fantastic. They're just great and continue to be great. And it's really hard to know what else to say other than wow. You know? That's me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Brentford way in terms of, you know, having continuity between, you know, obviously it was Dean Smith and Thomas Frank was, you know, became the manager after being the assistant manager, and then Keith Andrews was what was he, set pieces coach.
Set piece coach, yeah.
And then to go to the manager, and it just shows the Brentford way is still working. What a great job.
Brilliant bees. That's what I will say. I know bees aren't your favourite, Will, but yeah, brilliant bees. They've been absolutely unbelievable. You think they lost Brian Mbuemo, they lost Johan Wisser, they lost Christian Norgard, they lost Thomas Frank, they lost most of the backroom staff, you know. And this guy called Keith Andrews, who we don't know a lot about, other than he was a set piece coach, never really managed it, you know, before. First
fantastic
proper job,
player.
Was a very good player, but we don't know much about him as a person.
No.
And somebody who hadn't had a manager's job, I don't think. So to come in and do what he's done has been absolutely no for me, and I know people disagree because if Arsenal win the league, he'll probably get it. But for me, you're looking at the manager of the season with what Brentford had to cope with in the summer, and that is Keith Andrews. What a debut season! And I really, really hope they get some form of European.
Should be manager of the season.
Well, we can beg to differ on that, isn't the conversation? But for me, if they get European football, he should be the manager of the season. Absolutely brilliant. He's been terrific. They play some really good football, as they did under Thomas Frank, and he's carried that on. Interesting, he said that he didn't think the players were fit enough and has increased the fitness this season. But yeah, and the emergence when Burma left, obviously, Tony left the year before, the season before, Wissa gone. But the emergence of a man who was at the club last season but broke his leg in pre-season, and that is Igor Thiago to lead.
What a guy. I love him, I do.
Absolutely fantastic.
He looks about 40 years old, yet he's only 24.
Yeah. And he's definitely would give Simon Cowell a run for his money with his shiny teeth. But Yeah, he's brilliant. Nice guy as well. I'm signed a new contract. We'll see if that's just to protect Brentford or whether he intends to stay for a while. But and I know I've gone well over my sentence here, but yeah, just brilliant for Thiago for Brentford, and I really, really hope they make Europe because I think they really deserve it this season.
Right, to finish off with the Prem, give me a top 6. Who wins the title?
Arsenal.
Who is Champions League? Who is Europa League? We'll go Will first.
Arsenal to win the Premier League. I'm thinking Liverpool to win the Champions League, actually. Europa League. Remind me, Forest are in the Europa League, aren't they?
I think Jordan was meaning the top 6, Will.
I was talking about who is your Premier League top 6.
Oh,
I've
sorry.
confused the life out of me.
Sorry. Apologies. Okay. Arsenal to win the title. I think City to be second. Let's see. I didn't think they would be there, but I do think United will be in the top 4 now. Let's see. Arsenal, City, United, Chelsea. Who else? Oh, Liverpool.
Making this very painful, Will.
No, I'm just trying to think. Arsenal, City, United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Is that 5?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need one more. Maybe.
How about the team that half of your fantasy football is made up of?
Brentford.
No, Aston Villa.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll go City, Arsenal, City.
Oh my God.
Arsenal, City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Villa. Yeah.
I'll go next if you don't mind, Sammy.
While I put my teeth back in because I've had to pull them all out.
I'm gonna go with, and I know I've said I don't think they'll do it, and I still, in the back of my mind, my head says that they still won't do it. Sorry, my heart says they still won't do it, but my head is saying surely they can't bottle it from here. I am gonna say Arsenal to win the league. I'm gonna say City to finish second. I'm gonna say Villa third. I'm gonna say United fourth. I'm gonna say Chelsea fifth, and Liverpool sixth.
Okay.
Although I must say, I find it quite hard to separate Villa, Chelsea, and United currently.
And you think Brentford will get European football in 7th?
Oh, seventh. All right, okay, let's put 7th in.
You've got Brentford, Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, Sunderland.
That one's hard to call.
Newcastle and Palace. They can all probably.
If I was going to name any, I'd probably say Newcastle, but they'd have to win. They'd have to just smash the next few games, which they are capable of doing. I'll go Newcastle, sod it.
Who do you think's going to get 7th, Will?
Definitely not Newcastle.
Thanks, Phil.
Sorry. I think. I think. Do you know what? Yeah, maybe Brentford. Yeah.
That was the cop out of the season, right? So are we on to me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of like you, Jordan. I'm in an and they've still got to play each other. I'm going to go City to break Arsenal's hearts and win the league. Arsenal second, Villa third, Chelsea fourth, United fifth, Liverpool sixth, Everton seventh.
Oh, bold.
Interesting.
I'm gonna put it out there and say I think we should stop here, and I'll tell you why. Because we've been doing this for nearly 2 hours, and we've just got to the Premier League. We've just finished the Premier League.
Do you want to quickly do managerial changes in the EFL rather than
There's been absolutely tons since we last did this.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
If it's the FA Cup next week, I am not available for the show, but I can leave some voice notes for Will to try and put in, I guess, with some EFL.
That would be incredibly complicated, and it wouldn't look good.
Maybe I can. That's me told.
Sorry.
I don't know then, but I was thinking that because it's FA Cup, you could have an EFL centered week, but obviously I'm not available next week, so you'd have to do it without me. The only thing I could say is I could give some guidance in the group chat before, and you can go off the guidance I give.
Yeah, that might be the best way. Yeah.
Or do you want to just do a quick rundown now of the EFL?
Yeah, while we've got you, let's.
Well, the only reason I don't is because we've been recording for 2 hours, and it'll take a while to get through the EFL. That's kind of why I'm saying, oh, let's not do that.
Well, can you just do the manager changes? Cause
we can do some manager changes, yeah. I mean,
there's not much
point. There's not much point because most of them have been in post for long enough that we know what they're like. I can see whether anything else has changed since we last.
You could talk about the manager's post and see what you think of them.
Okay, so let's see where we were up to. Had Javi Gracia left Watford when we last did this?
No.
No, my God, there's absolutely fucking loads. Jesus Christ. Since we last did this, I think Liam Rossinha wasn't even in the job.
No.
Shit. Wow.
So I've got from the middle of December. I know I've got from John Brady joining Port Vale on the 6th of January all the way till Gary Rowett joining Leicester on the 18th of February. I've got absolutely loads.
Well, why don't we just go through the names and we can say hit or miss?
Okay. Okay, because we've got records here, so we can go like that. Victor Matos, Swansea, played 20, lost 8, drawn 3, won 9. Hit or miss?
Played 20, lost 8, drawn 9.
Drawn 3, won 9.
Hit.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Kim Hellberg at Middlesbrough played 19, lost 6, drawn 3, won 11.
Hit.
I was reading
Yeah.
he was a PE teacher, by the way, apparently.
I agree. Steve Evans, Bristol Rovers played 14, lost 8, drawn 2, won 4.
From where they were?
From where they were, I would say hit.
Hit.
John Brady for Port Vale played 11, lost 4, drawn 3, won 4.
Hit.
Yeah, I think a hit, but I think it's too late for them. Liam Rosenior isn't an EFL manager, so we don't need to talk about him. Matt Bloomfield at Oxford, 12 games played, lost 5, drawn 5, won 2.
Miss.
Yeah, I'm still undecided personally. Liam Manning played 8, lost 3, drawn 1, won 4.
Two.
For Huddersfield.
Played 8, lost 1, drawn 4. What was it?
Lost 3, drawn 1, won 4.
Miss.
Disagree, but okay. Gavin Cowan joined Shrewsbury Town. Played 8, lost 2, drawn. Yeah.
Shrewsbury, depending on what side of the river you live on.
Shrewsbury. Lost 2. Lost 2, drawn 1, won 5, and the 5 wins were 5 wins in a row.
Hit.
He's an absolute hit. He's amazing. I can't. The job he's done is fantastic. Dino Mamria joined Barrow on the 11th of Feb. Played 4, lost 3, won 1.
Miss.
Yeah, I agree. Miss. Michael O'Neill joined Blackburn, but will continue as the Northern Ireland manager. Won 2, played 4, won 2, lost 2.
Hit.
Agree. Igor Tudor and Vitor Pereira, we don't need to talk about. Gary Cordwell has moved from Exeter to Wigan. Played 3, lost 1, won 2.
Too early to say.
So far, I'd say hit, but it is very early to say. Similarly with Gary Rowett for Leicester, drawn 2, won 1. Played 3, drawn 2, lost 1.
No, very difficult. Too early.
I think they look okay, but it's not a good situation to be in. And I wouldn't like to be their manager. Even though it's a great club and a club I've got an affinity for, absolutely no way would I like to be anywhere near that club right now, because I think it's difficult. Did you see Maresca was in the stands the other day?
Was he at Leicester?
Yeah.
So he's still living in London then?
Must be.
Right.
So, in my opinion, I think this is a great place to take us home.
Or should I do it?
Yeah, go ahead, mate.
I think Jordan should do it as he's not here for 20 years at a time.
Hey, listen, I've got a job. I need to. I've got a very demanding job. Sorry, because so as well. And you've just got jobs when you feel like it.
Oh, Jesus. That was right under.
So
Right.
right then, right. Well, it's not quite worked out how we expected. I don't think we expected to spend 2 hours talking about the Premier League and 5 minutes on the EFL. But there you go. That's what happens when you put me and Sam together in a room and when we've not talked football in ages. And my thanks go to, of course, the man whose channel this is on, Will. Thanks,
Thank you
mate.
very much, Joel. Yeah, good to have you back. And yeah, after that comment, I'm sure you'll want to be worming tail out of that one.
No, sod him. I meant it. And of course, my thanks to the man who's now crying in the corner, Mr. Sam Taylor.
Fuck you.
Which is also what he said to Port Vale fans as well.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for watching and listening. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel for more content like this. Next week, it's the FA Cup. Who, if there are any, will there be upsets? We'll see, I guess. We'll see. We'll see.
We will do an FA Cup special, so we will.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah, I won't be here, but the boys will be here to cover it all.
Yeah,
And don't forget, as always, they'll do it all without having kicked a ball.